Bitcoin breaks the 21-week EMA, Jerome Powell is speaking at Jackson Hole, and India is literally touching the moon. Even though we have all this exciting news, I only have one question in my mind, and that is it already time to buy CRO or do we need to sell? Well guys, I hope you got your monthly paycheck because it's time to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only Coin Baron, and honestly, this has been a very eventful month already. So it's time for the monthly check-in with the central question, is it right now a good time to actually buy CRO? So without any further ado, let's go to the charts. The first tool we use for analysis is a CRO US dollar chart, and especially over here with a fib retracement overlay. So these lines you see with these colors, those are the fib retracement levels, and those often really give you good support or resistance. So in the last video in July, we were at $6 US over here, and you see we couldn't actually break through this level. So the next step would be going down, and that's exactly what we did during this month. However, that we actually try breaking this level is normally a bullish thing. So we're knocking really on the door to actually enter the next level. So normally I would say this is quite a bullish thing, but of course we're still in this range between $6 and it seems $4.5. So we can actually remain in this level for quite a while and maybe even start knocking on the door over here of $4.5. So also be very cautious. Anyways, to the next tool. Over here, we can see the relative strength of Bitcoin versus altcoins. And well, as you see, it is not altcoin season over here. So that means Bitcoin right now is outperforming other altcoins. And of course, the altcoins, that's a basket actually of multiple ones. So you see like 50 over here. But Cronos normally is not really an outlier and it likes to follow all the other altcoins. Therefore, I like this tool as well. Anyway, I think a funny thing to actually mention is that currently we are at level 27, so quite close to Bitcoin season. And a month ago, we were also at level 27. One big thing changed though. So in July, actually, we had this upwards trajectory. So we went from a very deep Bitcoin season at level 8, 9 in June to 27. And it looked like we had a trajectory like going into altcoin season. But that trajectory is completely flatlined. So actually went up and down a bit into the borders of Bitcoin season. And right now we're still, well, a bit in the middle, but it seems to be more in Bitcoin season's favor. So take that into consideration as well. The next chart we're looking at is the day since last all-time high for Bitcoin. And if you haven't seen the previous video, well, these blue colors over here, those correspond to the amount of days since the last peak. So for example, over here, we see it's blue. So we know it has been a long time since we've seen the top of it. And if it's red, well, we just had an all-time high. So that's the difference between the colors. And what you see, if it's blue, it's normally very bullish. We have this upward trajectory in price. While if it's red or yellowish, it's normally very bad for the price. Right now, though, yeah, we are in green and it's really a middle phase. But what I'm curious of right now, and this is really, can we repeat the same process as over here, for example, in 2020? And 2020 was quite special because we had the Corona dump. So it was really green, which is normally a positive thing because it's starting to look like blue. But we can still go down quite a lot. But not only this happened in 2020, this also kind of happened over here in 2015. So will this be the final scare, really, of this cycle? That's the question and I still can't answer yet. So again, not really bullish, but also not really bearish. We have to wait and see what will happen with this chart. Whilst we're talking about Bitcoin, we also need to visit the CRO Bitcoin chart. Because as I pointed out in the previous video, well, we have been very close to the all-time low for CRO versus Bitcoin. And this is, I think, a very interesting part because if we retest this line over here, well, we are going back in time basically to 2020. So that's, I think, a very important level to take a look at. And so far, it seems we kind of bounced away from it. So looks like we might not actually check it again. But well, I also want to point out something else, and that is, I think, a trend change. Because what I have seen previously, actually, when I was checking this chart, is that we had this trend line over here that you see. So we had this bounce, 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 and again, another bounce on this line. But it seems we actually broke through this trend, this downward trend, quite a while ago, already in April. And it seems so far we've been continuing this breakout. So overall, that's a good thing, because you don't want to keep in this downward trajectory. Also, it doesn't fit with, well, where we are in the cycle. But I would have to say it is not enough right now to draw any real conclusions. We're still in this danger zone over here, too close to the all-time low. But of course, this is great support, and also the fact that we did break out over here. So I'm feeling bullish, but I have to really take attention and look at this chart for the coming weeks or maybe even months. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you that you have to zoom out for once in a while and just see how cheap CRO is. This is really a fire sale if you compare it to just 2 years earlier. And just imagine if you get one BTC right now, buy all the CRO you can, and in like 2-3 years, check in again and see if we're here or here. You can get so much more value out of your money than if you would just get straight up Bitcoin right now. Anyways, there's also an opinion I would like to share with you guys. But for now, for the real short term, we are stuck here. Okay then, time for the conclusion. And the first tool we looked at today was the CRO versus US dollar chart. And honestly, compared to last month, nothing really changed. Price might have dropped, but was still in the same range. And I think that range is more important for me than the actual price. Although it's a bit cheaper, so I would still regard this as a buy in my books. Then the second tool, and well, that's the altcoin season. And last month we were at 27, but it was looking very bullish. We had this great trajectory towards the altcoin season, but right now that trajectory actually broke down. So I would say actually that's a -1 this month. We don't want to buy CRO if Bitcoin is actually getting stronger. Then the time in the cycle, and again, I'm still waiting for that second scare in the market cycle. So I don't want to say right now, make a conclusion that this is the end of the bear cycle, but I can't say it's the start of the bull cycle either. So that remains neutral. Then also finally, well, that was the CRO Bitcoin chart. And there we kind of have the same thing. We are looking more bullish because we actually had the break of the bearish trajectory, but I can't make any conclusions yet. So also remains 0. Overall, it's a 1 and a -1 and 2 times neutral. So overall, guys, I would actually make allocation of 25% by CRO, 25% by Bitcoin, and 50% still remain in US dollars. So that's my personal allocation. I'm not a financial advisor, but please let me know in the comments down below what you guys are doing. And of course, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel and always press this like button. But that's me, I'm the Coin Baron, and we'll see you in the next video. Till then.